in terms of actual real experience in the world, you will not find equality. It's a myth.
But in terms of seeking Allah's reward between a man and a woman,
that they have the same potential.
Potential.
Yes,
correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, really, it's unfair because women have an easier route to gain God's grace according to the Islamic tradition.
How so?
Well, for instance, according to the Prophet Muhammad, a woman came to him and complained. She said, we see men go out and struggle in the way of God, defending the lands of Islam. We see them, they have more money than we do, and they give charity. And we see them, they go to the congregational mosque 5 times a day, and we have children that keep us in our houses. They're getting all the reward. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, any woman who fulfills her trust to God and her responsibility in her household has the same reward as that man out there who's doing jihad, who's paying his charity, who's going to the mosque. In other words, and I think the way my wife said that when she told me, she said that's not equal. She said it's that the Prophet understood how difficult it is to be a woman in this world.
Because even though we feel that women may feel that they are fulfilling their purposes at home, they may feel they have another purpose of doing good for the ummah in terms of being out in the public eye for those reasons.
The greatest good that a mother can do for not just the ummah of Islam, but for humanity, is to raise a human being. That is the greatest thing that she can do. And if she thinks she can do anything greater, she's deluded. She is deluded. Now, not every woman is a mother, and there's certainly many, many things that women can do. But if a woman has a child, once she's committed to that and has a child, if she abandons that responsibility in pursuit of some empty career or some idea of making her mark on the world, she has completely misunderstood the great importance and the great responsibility that she has been given by God, in that the fruit of her womb is before her, and she will be asked. All of you are shepherds, and every shepherd is responsible for his flock. And then he said, a ruler is a shepherd, and he's responsible for the country. A husband is a shepherd, and he's responsible for his family. And a woman is a shepherd, and she's responsible for her children. So, if a woman brings children into this world and then dumps them in a daycare center where people have 20 or 30 children, and a woman's being paid $8 an hour to look after those 20 or 30 children, and then she thinks that somehow she's doing something more important by going out and working, I think there's something very seriously wrong with her maternal instincts. Because abandonment in the animal kingdom, abandonment is alien to animals. They will only do abandonment out of mercy. They will abandon an animal out of mercy. They won't abandon if the animal is well.
With respect to your response to that, what if that is a woman's only means of livelihood?
And that's another situation. You see, you can't, I mean, Islam is not, again, it's not a simpleton's religion. If a woman has no other source of income and she's forced to do certain things, then she's forced to do them. And that, the shame is on the men. The shame is on the men for not facilitating for women to raise their children. I mean, we're living, if you look at America right now, look at the children in this country. Look at the rage. Listen to the music. Don't listen to it, but if you do listen to it from these loudspeakers coming out of their cars as they drive by, that music is filled with rage. And look at their faces. Look at the spiritual state of these people, or the bereft state, the lack of spirituality. And to give some of them credit, I'm amazed at how well some of them do despite all of the odds against them. I am amazed that there's children out there, there's young people out there that are really struggling to find a purpose to their life in a world that is telling them constantly, including their parents, by abandoning them, that they are worthless and that their lives are purposeless.
Okay, irrespective of financial need, looking at your analogy of mercy in women and that being characteristic of women, say a woman, Muslim woman, married with children, her husband provides well and family's doing fine. If she feels that with this characteristic of having mercy, is able to go out into the working world and is able to do something good for the ummah, whether it be in the media, whether it be in any form of her capability, and her family's being taken care of, how does that configure with abandonment?
Well, again, I would re-emphasize that no one can give to children what a mother can give to their children. That doesn't mean there aren't pathological mothers out there. There are. There are mothers that dump their babies into garbage cans. I mean, this happens. People read about these things in the newspapers, and some people experience them firsthand. But the point is that children need time. Children thrive on time. I have 3 children. They're homeschooled, and the amount of time that not just my wife, but that I put into those children is immense. And they thrive on it. They need time. And parents now spend 5 or 10 minutes with their children in a day. And you cannot do that to a child. You will kill that child's soul. And they'll end up spending the rest of their life seeking that love in pathological ways from other people. They'll end up spending it by trying to be superficial beings that only think that their worth in the world is physical, like so many of the women out there. Why are all these women getting plastic surgery to rearrange their faces? Why are they out there jogging in the streets trying to keep up with some image of the body that has been presented to them by a mainstream media that has essentially at its root a desire to sell them things, to sell them cosmetics, to sell them clothes that quote-unquote look sexy, to sell them toothpaste that's going to make them more presentable. I mean, this is what's happening out there. People are in a if you look out at the world right now, look out there, look at the state of human beings right now. So many of these women that I see out there do not look well. They do not look well to me. And I think part of it is because their souls are telling them that they're not well, because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do in this world, your soul will let you know from every which way, and it will be painful. You'll end up, if you don't listen to your soul, you'll end up on antidepressants, you'll end up on alcohol, you'll end up on drugs, you'll end up in pathological relationships.
So what is the role of the woman, which would be deemed as Islamically correct?
You know, the role, I hate that word, first and foremost, because it's an acting metaphor.
Which word?
The role.
Oh.
But anyway,
Okay.
It's English language, but I would say that the